Have you ever felt it? You're completely alone. The house is silent. The door is locked. No footsteps, no voices. And then something changes. A tiny prickling sensation crawls up the back of your neck. Your chest tightens. Without thinking, you turn around. Nothing. The room is empty. You laugh at yourself. Shake it off. Tell yourself you're imagining things. But what if you're not? Not because someone is actually there, but because you're running one of the oldest survival programs ever written. A program so ancient that it existed millions of years before cities, before civilization, before humans even looked like humans. And despite everything we've built, houses, locks, electricity, cameras, your brain still refuses to turn it off. Because once upon a time, feeling watched usually meant you already were. Imagine standing alone on the African savanna 6 million years ago. The grass is taller than you. You can't see very far. Somewhere nearby, something is hunting. You don't smell it. You simply feel it. A strange certainty that you're no longer alone. Now imagine two people. One ignores the feeling. I need proof. The other spins around immediately. Runs. 9 times out of 10, nothing happens. But on the 10th time, the first person becomes lunch. The second survives. Over hundreds of thousands of generations, evolution made its decision. It didn't reward accuracy. It rewarded survival. The people who panicked too often lived long enough to have children. The people who waited for certainty usually didn't. You are descended from the jumpy ones. Modern science even has a name for this ancient survival program. Cognitive scientist Justin Barrett called it the hyperactive agency detection device. Its job is beautifully simple. Whenever your brain encounters something uncertain, a shadow, a strange sound, a movement in your peripheral vision, it asks one question. Could something intelligent have caused this? Notice the wording. Not did something cause this? Could something? And if the answer is even maybe, the alarm sounds. Because evolution understood something computers still struggle with. A false alarm costs almost nothing. You turn around, nobody's there. Life goes on. But missing a real threat costs everything. Your brain would rather embarrass you 1,000 times than fail you once. So, it always chooses suspicion over certainty. Every single time. But predators weren't the only danger. Eventually, humans became something even scarier than lions. Other humans. Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar discovered something fascinating. For our ancestors, being rejected by your group wasn't just emotionally painful. It was often fatal. No tribe meant no protection, no shared food, no one to watch while you slept. Being judged by 30 people could literally determine whether you survived the winter. So evolution built another detector, one that never stopped scanning for eyes, for judgment, for tiny social signals. Even today, your brain constantly asks questions you never consciously hear. Who is looking at me? What do they think of me? Do I belong here? You aren't just afraid of predators anymore. You're afraid of being evaluated. And here's where things become almost unbelievable. That strange feeling doesn't begin in the thinking part of your brain. It begins somewhere much older, long before language, long before logic, deep inside the amygdala. Neuroscientist Arnie Oman discovered that the amygdala can react to dangerous stimuli before your visual cortex has fully figured out what you're looking at. Your body starts preparing to survive. Before you consciously know why, your heart speeds up. Stress hormones begin moving. Muscles tense. Only afterward does your conscious mind catch up and ask, wait, what just happened? Your body has already answered. Darkness makes this even worse because your brain hates missing information. When it can't clearly see what's around you, it doesn't simply stop working. It fills in the blanks. Psychologists call one version of this pareidolia, the tendency to see faces in random patterns. Clouds, curtains, tree bark, a pile of clothes, a shadow in the corner of your bedroom. And that's no accident. Your brain dedicates an astonishing amount of processing power to finding faces. There's even an entire region called the fusiform face area, devoted almost exclusively to recognizing them. Research shows your visual system begins to detect faces almost automatically, even in your peripheral vision. Your brain is constantly asking, is that someone? Even when it's only darkness pretending to be one. Now put everything together. A brain that assumes hidden agents, a nervous system built to fear social rejection, an amygdala that reacts before you can think, a face detector so sensitive it finds people where none exist. Suddenly, that empty room doesn't feel so empty anymore. Not because there's a ghost. Not because you're irrational, but because evolution built an early warning system so effective, it still runs perfectly in a world it was never designed for. Your brain doesn't know you live behind locked doors. It doesn't understand alarm systems, or streetlights, or smartphones. As far as your oldest instincts are concerned, you're still standing on the savannah, still surrounded by tall grass, still one careless moment away from becoming something else's dinner. So when the radiator hisses, it pauses. When the floor creaks, it listens. When a shadow moves, it prepares. Not because it knows danger is there, because for millions of years, assuming danger existed was the safest strategy. Tonight, you'll probably feel it again. Walking down a quiet hallway, standing in front of a dark room, reaching for a light switch. For a brief moment, something inside you will whisper, "Turn around." You probably will. Not because you're weak, not because you're imagining things, but because every ancestor who survived long enough to become your ancestor was the kind of person who turned around first and asked questions later.